dude.
We're not live yet. Now we're live.
Are we gonna
There
have?
we go.
So, are you guys
10:01.
gonna paint today?
Yeah, I think so.
Or seal? I mean,
Seal, yeah.
Cool. Hey, everybody. Hey, Eric. Hey, Paul. I think it's just Eric and Paul here right now, and us. So we'll hang out for a little bit. Maybe Joy says that she's got she's asked to attend a meeting today. She's not gonna be able to chime in.
Okay.
But there's some other people watching now. There's 4, 5. Gary's here. You know, I would like to get down to the Oklahoma, Texas, New Mexico area sooner rather than later. Maybe I'll stop in and see Gary and Jay. I don't know where they are. I mean, I'm sure Gary and Jay would tell me where they are. But like maybe I could get with those guys and see what's going on with
there you go.
With those dudes. Oh, Joy is here for a minute. Hey, Doug Santaniello is here. Butch is here. Gary's like, yeah, come on down, man. Make this shit happen. Don't just talk about it. Start doing something.
Yeah.
Brian Duncan is here and he's right there. So yeah. Chris, how are you today, sir?
I'm good.
So do you know what we're talking about today?
I saw it right before we started.
Would you remind me?
The most iconic guitars of all time.
The most iconic electric guitars of all time, I think, or something like that. So it's time to shoot the breeze with the OG TTGs. I'm the OGest TTGs.
You are. I'm.
You're right up there though.
I'm the new guy.
You're the FNG.
in a shop of two, I'm the new guy. So yeah.
So let's start shooting, right?
Yep.
So let me ask you, Chris, when I say the most iconic electric guitars of all time, do you think of like models or do you think of like so-and-so's, or do you think of like, I'm gonna say something you're probably not gonna like. Dick Dale's Strat.
I originally thought model.
Okay. I thought like somebody's guitar.
Okay.
All right. So let's why don't you pick one of each and I'll pick one of each.
Okay.
And then we'll see what everybody else's picks are.
Okay.
That's going to rely on you guys to come up with some stuff and put them in the comment section so we can read it, or this is going to be a fast video.
Okay. So you want to start with brand?
And model.
Model, yeah.
Okay, so I think that the most iconic model electric guitar is the Fender Strat.
Okay.
And I've often said this, if for those of you who remember what an encyclopedia is, or if you Google something, if you just Google electric guitar, it is very likely it'll be a picture of a Strat.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think?
Yeah, I think that's true. I was going to pick a different one.
What would you pick?
The Les Paul.
Okay. Either one. Like if there's two guitars, it's those.
Yeah. But yeah, you're right. I think electric guitar, the picture in the encyclopedia or the dictionary is a Strat or a Strat shaped thing.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Now, if there was
the first guitar I ever drew was a Strat.
Okay.
And I don't know where I got the picture or something like that. I was doing like a concert poster looking thing and needed a guitar and ended up drawing a Strat. Went, okay.
They're
I don't
cool.
even know if this band
They're
plays
cool
a Strat,
looking.
But yeah.
All right. So now let's say, what about a person's most iconic electric guitar?
Okay.
That like is associated with say, I don't know, Billy Gibbons plays or whatever. Like what?
Okay.
What do you want to go first, or you want me to go first?
I'll let you go first.
Okay. I don't even know the model. It is the Gibson double neck SG that Jimmy Page used on the Stairway to Heaven, song video, whatever. He probably, when he was recording that, they probably recorded in lots of different things.
They did, yeah.
He probably didn't have that guitar, but he needed a 12-string. But that's a cool looking guitar, and I think, what's your?
I originally thought I would say Hank Marvin's Fiesta Red Stratocaster. Because apparently every kid in England, after he got that guitar, wanted a Fiesta Red Stratocaster, which was unavailable. But once they were available, they would come in, and the place that was importing them painted them all red after the fact.
Oh, they didn't just get red ones?
They didn't just get red ones. No, they got whatever they could get.
Oh, okay.
And then they painted them red. And like guys like Mark Knopfler always has a red guitar because of Hank Marvin, and just all these people.
isn't it funny that I picked a Fender and you picked a Gibson, and then I
Yeah.
picked a Gibson, you picked a Fender?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know.
Yeah. But you could also say the same thing about, like Buddy Holly,
Mhm.
who I think created a lot of that Strat buzz as well.
Yeah.
And Stevie Ray Vaughan.
And there's probably
I think
one
the
other
Stevie Ray
guy who
Vaughan,
maybe played at Woodstock that had a Strat that I
that's
forget
it.
his name.
Yeah. Well, yeah. But his were always upside down.
Uh-huh.
So they looked even cooler.
Even more rad.
Yeah. But I think Stevie Ray Vaughan and his guitar and Rory Gallagher's guitar created that whole relic Strat thing being cool.
Yeah.
In a lot of ways.
Yeah, you're probably right.
Anyway.
Okay. Well, let's go to the comment section, see what you guys have to say.
I got my Dick Dale shirt on today.
Hey.
I should have said Dick Dale. There's a picture of me and Dick Dale.
Okay. I'm looking for Brian Duncan says Buck Dharma's Swiss cheese guitar. He certainly influenced that Bumblefoot guy.
Yeah.
Yep. Martin Murray says Jimmy and the Strat. I mean, talk about like there are very few people that like play the same guitar all the time. And I realize Jimi Hendrix had some other stuff too, but most pictures, the most of pictures that you see, he's got a Strat of some kind. Angus Young, most of the time, he's got the SG. What are some other ones that
guys that have played the same model?
Stevie Ray had the Strat.
Lots of Strats.
Alvin Lee,
in the 335. Yeah, we should do a list of guitars and then who the most famous player is, or who the most iconic player of that model is.
That's a good one. Maybe that we'll have to figure.
Well, yeah, I mean, if you said Super Strat, then you'd probably go, well, maybe Eddie Van Halen.
Jeffrey Egan says, I would say the Strat, although the SG has always been my favorite. I think the SG is one of the neatest guitar. Like I've always loved them. My first guitar was an SG. I know there's a bunch of them there. Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of SGs going on right now.
Do you think that the SG is like kind of like a heavy metal guitar? Or do you think it's a grandpa guitar?
I think it's more of a heavy metal guitar just because of the way it looks. But yeah, because it kind of looks like a bat.
But but there's not very many heavy metal guys now who play. Although it still would be a cool guitar for.
Yeah. And I don't know. So at this point, I don't know who. I know a lot of people that like them.
Yeah.
I'm not sure who's playing them, but I don't pay that much attention. So
I like Samantha Fish. She plays a really cool white one. Definitely not a metal.
Yeah. No.
Brian Duncan says Billy Gibbons, Pearly Gates. Of course, that's a 59 Les Paul. Brian Duncan says Brian Duncan sure is chiming in a lot. It's a good thing too. Let's see. He says that the hold on, I'm going back here. Buddy Guy's polka dot Strat that's a cool one. Gary Redburn says Chuck Berry's Maybelline Gibson ES 350. I think that somebody was saying that Chuck Berry. I guess you don't know this. You might not know this. You do know this though. Apparently, Clarence Gatemouth Brown did not think Chuck Berry was much of a guitar player.
Oh yeah.
I think that one thing is true about Clarence Gatemouth Brown that anybody who ever heard him talk or met him would say is that he definitely spoke his mind.
Yeah. He had an opinion.
He had an opinion. That's right.
I'm not that familiar with Clarence Gatemouth Brown. I don't know. I think most young, aspiring rock and roll guitar players, I think, end up sounding an awful lot like Chuck Berry early on.
Much more than Clarence Gatemouth Brown. Yeah.
And I saw Ike Turner talk about Chuck Berry. And Ike Turner could flat out play.
Yeah.
But he was a horrible human being. You could argue the same thing about Chuck. But it was funny because it was obvious that Ike was just like super jealous of any success that Chuck had. But he was talking about how, how Chuck Berry was playing for the white kids. and yeah, he was, and he was doing well with that. And yeah, Ike was just slapping women around.
So. Butch Landry says George Harrison's Rosewood Telly because it was played at the rooftop concert. I couldn't tell you really anything about the rooftop concert other than that I know it happened. I don't know what guitars were there. Kevin says BB King and Lucille. That's a good one.
Yeah.
Brian says Alvin Lee's 335. Did you already say that, Brian?
No,
okay.
Yeah.
Paul Goslin says Peter Green's Greenie Les Paul. I got to tell you, I think that's a great one. But do you remember how old you were when you were like, oh yeah, the Greenie Les Paul? I was pretty old. It wasn't like when I was 25, I'm like, oh man, what a cool guitar that is. I knew about like Billy Gibbons stuff, but I didn't know anything about
yeah, and you knew a few people had 59s and a few famous people had 59s, but his wasn't one that came up a lot.
I didn't know anything about.
And I think at that time he didn't even own it anymore. It was passed on to Gary Moore at that point. So then you knew that Gary Moore had one. And that's probably where I heard about it. That it was Gary Moore's, but I don't remember them calling it Greenie, and I don't recall the well, obviously the association with Peter Green.
Brad Guitar Miller says Terry Kath and his Telecaster. That's a good one too, Brad. Hey,
that's
by the way,
one that I was not aware of until
Andrew St. Pierre came out here. Frankly,
that's exactly right. Yeah, and he made one, and then Fender started making them.
By the way, Brad, I got your video that you sent. Brad sent me some really cool pictures of some really cool pickups that Dylan made for him. They're regular P90 covers with some scroll work on them on the plastic. They look neat.
Oh, cool.
They're cool. That's why I was on the phone with Dylan when you got in this.
You were talking to?
Yep.
I should have known that. Don't know why I didn't realize it was Dylan. Yeah.
Jeffrey Egan, Tony Iommi made the SG a metal guitar. Samantha Fish kills it with the SG. That's right. SG probably became associated with hard rock because of Angus Young. Maybe. Michael Ayler says Johnny Ramone and his Mosrite. The reason that I love Mosrites is because of the Ramones. Initially.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. There's. I wonder how many people buy, and I know this is true for me, buy a guitar based on their favorite player playing that model of guitar.
I think it happens quite often.
I think it happens more than people would like to admit.
Brian Duncan sent us a super chat and says ad free, although I don't think this video is ad free. Somebody, but thank you for the super chat, Brian. I'll buy you lunch sometime to make it up for you.
No refunds.
SS says, welcome to the Casanova Deluxe level. Thank you, SS. He says he let his membership lapse. He won't let it happen again. Don't let it happen.
Okay,
yeah. So Brad says those were paisley pattern, very cool. Had a humbucker cover done for my thin line. Oh, neat. Dylan's doing some really cool stuff with that laser.
The laser. Yep. He sent me a picture of a super secret top secret project. That's really, really neat.
He was asking me if I'd seen it, and I said no.
Yeah.
It's so secret you haven't showed me.
Well, because when did I get it? The other night. Yeah. Anyway,
here's the thing. I'm like, that's going to be way cooler than that super secret project has a right to be. But speaking of Dylan, what Dylan's up to. So for you guys who are free I think it's June. It's Chris's mystery class. A lot of people are asking about Chris's mystery class, and okay. So a couple things. Dylan's going to be out here for that week, and he's going to bring a bunch of crazy pickup stuff, and you guys can do a pickup winding thing with Dylan. Which is neat. And you can wind your own pickups. I think I don't know how much it costs. You'd have to ask Dylan what it is. It's probably on his website.
Yeah.
So if you sign up for ours, then you can also sign up for Dylan's thing, and you can basically build some zany guitar. Will you talk a little bit about what your original idea for that was? And maybe, because before I call Carlos, I want to make sure I know. So
I think the original idea was come out, and it's similar to build a classic Fender, but you can't build a classic Fender.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong, though. You were like, what happens when those guys leave the Fender custom shop and they don't want to build just Strats and Tellys, but they want to build?
Yeah, but they want to build something, I don't want to say in their wheelhouse, but using techniques that they perfected
Yeah.
at Fender.
Okay, that makes sense. I like that.
Yeah, so you have to come up with new shapes.
Okay.
But you also have to come up with something that's somewhat familiar looking. It
And
can't be
repeatable and marketable
lightning
and
bolts and
lightning bolt. And you can't use the Fender headstock anymore.
Correct.
I don't
now
think.
we've changed that rule because originally we were going to source paddlehead headstocks for this, but we've since changed it to basically you supply all the stuff of the neck. We'll supply a body blank and shop time and us.
And this class is not expensive.
No, it's not. And you can come up with the whole idea is hopefully you'll be able to come up with something that's fairly unique.
You not hopefully, you're required to.
Well,
right?
and you'll draw it out and you'll cut it out and you'll spindle sand it, or you'll bring your own template or whatever it is, however you want to get that outside body shape.
Yeah.
But it won't be slapping a Telecaster template on a piece of wood
and
routing it out.
Okay.
So that was the whole idea of that.
Is it okay if someone makes like a version of a telly, like I'm going to make a telly, but I'm going to make it longer, or I'm going to make it shorter this way? Or...
That's different.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. And it's not a contest. There won't be a winner. Well, there will be in my mind.
Oh, there'll be a winner. All right.
But it's just your chance to come out and make something unique.
So we're going to call Carlos Lopez and see if he has any time this summer to come out and do that. We're also going to get in touch with the guys from Casino and see if they want to come out and do it. Dennis signed up for it just yesterday. Guys, the classes are selling out. So if you want to do it and you have time, this is a cool, fun one. This particular one is cool and fun to do, and we hope that you guys want to come out and do it.
Yeah.
Brian's probably going to do it. He's probably going to do it.
The other fun thing is, sourcing stuff is always fun.
Sourcing stuff can be a good time.
Yeah. So you get to source all of it except for a body blank.
Jeffrey Egan says, I bought Susan Tedeschi's signature telly because I love the tone. Victor says, Steve Miller playing a left-handed Strat. Jeffrey Egan, about time Susan gets her guitar recognition. Absolutely. Darren says, Willie Nelson's Trigger. Eric Luttinger says, Eddie's Frankenstein. Yeah, absolutely. Brian says, Lonnie Mac's Flying V. SS says, Brian Duncan's Flying V. Let's see. There's a bunch of great stuff here. Randy Rhoads and his Jackson Concord. I always liked Randy Rhoads' polka dot V that was actually built with a Dan Electro neck.
Boy, it has a dumb headstock.
It has a dumb headstock. It's got a dumb neck. It's got a poplar neck. Goslin Creative, the Gretsch Country Gentleman because of the Chet Atkins and Brian Setzer. So anyway,
Gretsch says Brian Setzer saved the company.
Fred does,
Fred Gretsch says that.
So anyway, gang, well, I hope that you had a good time with this video. We'll be back tomorrow for something more, and we'll hope to see you then. If you guys want to sign up for one of those workshops, man, time is of the essence. Get your pay your money and get your ticket. Buy your ticket and take your ride, something like that. Yeah. We'll see you guys tomorrow. Have a great day, everybody.